So this video is from the Diary of a CEO. The guest featured is Logan Ury, dating coach at Hinge, and Professor Scott Galloway. At around the 1 hour 15 minute mark, Scott states that more than half of men have not made the first move, i.e. asking women out on date. Then, he states that he finds that fact upsetting, to put it into his own words.
But my understanding is the majority of women still expect the man to take the initiative.
Absolutely.
And this is one of the most frightening stats I've seen. According to Pew, more than 50% of men between the ages of 18 and 24 have never asked a woman out in person. And I just find that so just upsetting and rattling, because that means men aren't even asking women out.
Then he proceeds to describe the challenges of the average man trying to find love in today's world.
Again, you can't tell women to lower their expectations, but this is the reality. When you ask a man if you could have a woman who had 80% of everything you wanted, 75% say, yeah, I'm on board.
Mm-hmm.
When you say to a woman, a man has 80% of what you want, 75% say that's not enough. But if you, but even look at the media.
Right.
What does the media tell a woman to do? He's out, but he didn't open your door. He's not nice to his parent. You'd walk right out on that man. Like, it's literally every piece of media is, you don't need him. You're a strong, independent woman. Pull the ripcord. You're out. And it is the basic kind of communication around this is, you are a strong, independent, powerful woman. That is wonderful. And quite frankly, you don't need the imperfect man. And they're just not connecting. I read that on Tinder, a man of average attractiveness has to swipe right 200 times to get one coffee, and then 4 of those 5 coffees will ghost him. They will decide they don't want to meet him, or they won't show up. That means a guy of average attractiveness has to swipe right 1,000 times to get one coffee. Now, what does that tell that guy? Women don't value me. Women make me feel rejected. And then they go online and they see these misogynists telling them it's not your fault.
Mm-hmm.
But the cherry on top of this entire podcast is how Logan and Scott managed to spend the past 1 hour 15 minutes just absolutely lampooning the answer to the question, what do you get with women today? You know, if we men go through the challenges of approaching a woman, asking them out on dates, and then she actually accepts going out on a date with us, you know, the reward.
And there's some data saying, okay, 2/3 of divorce can be reverse engineered to the man starting to make less money. When the woman in the relationship starts making more money, they become twice as likely to get divorced, 3 times as likely to use ED drugs, because the guy loses a sense of purpose and self-esteem.
The other part of the paradox is that women are asking men to be more emotionally open, but then they get shamed when they do that. So we have this great quote from Brene Brown where she says, we beg guys to open up, we beg them to let us in, and then when they do, we can't stomach it. And I heard that over and over in my research. There's this quote where a guy says, a woman would rather see me die on the white horse than fall off of it. And so there's this sense that I have to be perfect, I have to be the masculine and the feminine, but I don't have the skills to do that. And women say that they want these guys to be emotional, but as soon as they show emotionality, it can freak those women out. So one guy that I spoke to for this said, I went on a few dates with this woman. At some point, I told her that my mom had had a suicide attempt. And the next day she texted me and said, I'm sorry, I can't see you. I cannot process your emotional trauma for you. And so guys are getting a lot of mixed messages. We want you to be feminine. We want you to support us. But when you do, it freaks us out. And so we don't want that. And digging into the research, and I want to look into this more, I think it's that a lot of women want emotional support. They want you to support them in their emotional journeys, but they're not as ready to have you open up in your emotional journey.
Now, based on these answers, which one of these sound like a positive? Huh? To Scott and Logan, way the go, guys. 7 minutes spent. It breaks half the time. Half the time the ink doesn't come out. Are you guys trying to convince me to help you throw this pen in the trash? Or are you trying to convince me to open up my wallet to buy this pen? What are you trying to do, Logan and Scott? So according to the two of them, what we get with women is someone who is twice as likely to divorce us if we start making less money than them. And then we don't get any form of emotional support from them, but they want us to give it to them. That's in their own words, right? I'm not adding any form of my opinions in this, right? That's their own words. So are you trying to convince me to become gay? Are you actually trying to convince you to start asking women out on dates? So far, the two of you have done a terrible job for why we should start dating women, right? Now, before you spam the comment section with the M word, how about you spare those comments for those two knuckleheads on the screen right there? They have managed to absolutely bungle the answer to the question, what do we get from women today? Direct your anger at them, alright? They managed to, screw up that answer and they made every one of you look really bad. So yeah, the full interview is linked down below. If you think my assessment is, wrong, just let me know down below and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.